Okay, so if a borrower is an accountable person or a principal accountable person, I understand that that means that they are responsible for something called the golden thread. Have I got that right? And if I have, what is the golden thread?
Yeah, perhaps I'll start on this. Thanks, John. Yes, you have. The golden thread applies to HRBs, as you said, hence to PAP and AP responsibilities. Now, we're still waiting for the detailed guidance and regulations in relation to the golden thread. So, although the outline is there, we need to see the detail, but we can guess what it's going to be like based on the consultation that the government undertook at the end of last year. Basically, the golden thread is the information held electronically by the client during the design and construct phase, and then by the PAP or APs during the in occupation phase, that enables those that need to see it to understand the building and the steps needed to keep the building and people safe now and in the future. And those that need to see it would include, obviously, the PAP and the AP, the professional team in the design and construct phase, the fire service, for example, the BSR, the residents themselves. If you like to sort of summarize what it is, it's in the construct phase, it would be the information required to enable application for the building completion certificate at the end of the construction phase, covering all the relevant and important details about the building and its design and construction. And that is known as the Gateway 3 application, because that's the application you make at the end of the design and construct phase. In the in-occupation phase, it's all of the information that you would use to construct and maintain the safety case, dealing with the management of building safety risks during the building's life cycle and any major changes that occur to the structure of the building itself.
And one of the key points for a lender to think about is being able to have a copy of the golden thread information on demand. Now, this might be by having login details to a central data site which contains all of that information, or by having an obligation in the loan documents for the borrower to provide the information on demand. As Simon said, we are waiting for information in the secondary legislation just to clarify exactly what the requirements in relation to the golden thread information are. But from what we've seen so far, a lender doesn't have an automatic right to have access to it under the Building Safety Act, so you will need to make sure that that's captured somewhere.
Yeah, and from a lender's perspective, you'll need to know about the golden thread documents, as ultimately it's the pack that you can provide to any buyer when they're carrying out their due diligence in the event of enforcement. So if this information isn't available, a buyer is likely to assess that the commercial risk of a building is much higher, and so is likely to incur them a material cost to remedy any of those problems or carry out their own reports or surveys. So this in turn will likely lead to a lower value offer price. So the importance of the golden thread is not therefore just about the funding stage at the beginning and complying with CPs just to get the loan out the door, but it's also an ongoing monitoring and compliance requirement, because the golden thread's an evolving pack. As the building's built and then it's used, it will develop over time.
Understood.